Hi, my name is Hunter Swift, and I am the Director of Sales Development for a company called DealerSocket, which sells a CRM software B2B to car dealers. I was recently asked to help some of my inside sales team be more successful at making appointments with dealers to see a product demonstration of our CRM. Prospecting calls are a critical role in feeding the sales pipeline for any company, but most salespeople who make these calls often don't do it correctly and thus have a low appointment conversion rate. One of the reasons that phone prospecting isn't as successful as we would like it is often because the salespeople aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing by actually pitching the product to set the appointment. Instead, they usually start the call off by asking questions, lots of questions. Is this Mike? How are you doing today? I'm calling from DealerSocket. Have you heard of us? What products are you using? What are you doing to manage your customers? And then even after all of those probing questions, we usually ask, well, I wanted to see if you'd be interested in seeing a demonstration of our CRM, in which the prospect, more than not, says no or not interested. And we can't get anyone to say yes. And sometimes even if we do get someone to say yes, they don't even show up for their appointment. One of the hardest things about prospecting calls is just getting the right person on the phone to talk. Here you go, we finally have that person on the phone. You even have him on the phone for 30 or 40 seconds and you ask him for an appointment and he says no. Well, let's look at why he might have said no. Did you give him anything to say yes to our appointment? In the example I just gave, we didn't tell him anything about what we were trying to sell him or why he should see it. All we have done was wasted our time asking him questions that are really not appropriate during this prospect call. We actually have not pitched him anything that would create interest, need, want, excitement, or concern. So quit using the short time that you have to ask questions, but instead use it to pitch your product so that they have at least a reason to say yes to our appointment. This is why practicing your elevator pitch is so important in sales. When I call, I do usually start off with just one question. Did I catch you at a good time? I do this because I found that regardless of their answer, I have an opportunity to pitch my product and ask for the appointment. If they say yes, it's a good time, then great. If they say no, I say, well, then let me be quick. If they sound super busy or aggravated, just say that you'll try another time, hang up, even without giving an introduction. This allows me to continue to follow up with them later in the day and makes it so that he can't screen my calls because he knows that I'm going to be pitching my product. This is also why personally I don't leave voicemails when I prospect. Now, let's go back to that call. You finally have that person on the phone, so start pitching your product, but you want to be brief and effective. I found that it to be most effective and sound most realistic when you're not reading a phone script word for word. Instead, write down 4 or 5 bullet points, things that are great about your product that you're trying to sell. Make sure that these are not features of your product, but benefits and value. So start pitching your product. Well, the reason for my call today is now start listing a couple of benefits and values that you listed. Here's just an example of some of the things that I could mention. Well, DealerSocket helps dealers manage their customers. They drive more traffic, reduce lead response times, keep people more accountable, integrate sales and service, speed up the sales process, improve customer satisfaction. Now, it's not necessary that I list every single thing, but just pick a couple that you might feel might be able to draw some interest or might be specific to the role of the person that you're talking to. Then I talk about 1 or 2 features and summarize what my product can do for them. Well, we do this through a web-based CRM and mobile app. In a nutshell, we'll help you sell more cars and make more money. Then I ask for the appointment. If they say yes, great. If they say no or not interested or they're currently using something, don't stop, keep pitching. Most likely the 2 or 3 features that you listed might not have been able to hook them. So throw out a couple of the benefits that you didn't mention from before and see if you might be able to spark some interest to see a demo with those. Then I might add, well, what makes DealerSocket better than other CRMs is our mobile app, our integrations, maybe I'll say our marketing campaigns, our reporting. Don't forget, you can also mention things like our support. And we do all of this and more. Then we want to ask for that appointment again. When are you available for a demo, today or tomorrow? If you have any objections, try and overcome them, but usually the reason that most have objections on prospecting calls is because you haven't established enough interest. You haven't given anything of value, or you haven't created or uncovered any need. If you don't accomplish this, they will not set time apart of their busy day to see or show up for their appointment or demo. Some feel that in order to sell against another product that they need to be experts in competitive intel. That is not true. Just talk about things that your product is really great at or is helping your customers the most. Avoid comments like, well, your tool doesn't do this. Sell benefits of your product, not the believed weaknesses of your competition. Even after all of this, If you can't set the appointment, it's okay. Just gather some info, an email address, send them some information to go over, and then move on to your next call. Salespeople who only ask questions on the call or don't properly pitch their product correctly are often chasing appointments. They talk to someone, ask questions, but give nothing of value. Often the prospect doesn't want to say no, so instead they tell the salesperson, well, it's not a good time. Salespeople often think that though they haven't got a yes, they're building a relationship. But this relation will turn calls into like, hey, it's me again, or okay, I'll try you again next week. The prospect will end up never saying no and will keep pushing you out because they don't want to be mean and say no. So make sure you do everything on the call to get a yes or a no. Now, as with anything, the more you do something, the better you become. So I cannot emphasize this enough with prospecting calls. The more calls you make, the better you will become. You'll become more confident, more comfortable, and better at pitching your product and overcoming objections. The biggest source of your future customers has been and always will be through prospecting, and it's a numbers game. The more dials will equal more contacts, which will give you more opportunities to pitch your product, which if done correctly will net you more appointments, demos, and ultimately more sold deals. Hopefully you found some value in this, so go make some calls, quit asking questions, and start pitching your products. And if you have any questions, let me know, reach out to me. I'd love to help you out. Thank you and have a great day.